He's a first-year MBA. Emily Sheldon, who is an MPH candidate at the med school. She's focused on global health. And then Brian Brohl is a PhD in computer science. The reason I'm giving you this background is because what I want your feedback on today is tackling a really huge problem that's presented by the Holt Prize. If you're not familiar with the Holt Prize, it's something that Bill Clinton, through the Clinton Global Institute, does every year, where they challenge a group of social entrepreneurs to come up with an idea to solve some problem. This year it is income inequality in urban slums and quality of life. So the challenge is to double the income of 10 million people living in urban slums around the world by 2022 by connecting them with each other, infrastructure, capital, what have you. So it's really, really broad. We met for the first time yesterday, so this is really, really rough. But we are hoping that you can help shed some light on our initial business model focus that we've kind of come up with. Initially, we were given 3 different areas to focus within the case prompt. First was looking at refugee camps. Second was crowded cities, such as Tokyo and other places where it's really densely populated. And third was just urban slums in lower income, generally developing countries. We decided to go with urban slums in developing countries because Emily, my teammate, has done a substantial amount of work with HIV and AIDS research in South Africa. And so we were thinking probably go with a healthcare slant on this. And if we go with HIV/AIDS, one of the biggest problems that Emily demonstrated to us, or told us about, was the fact that so many people can't get access to their drugs because they have to travel so far, take time away from any work that they do have, any income they could earn, to go pick up their drugs and then get it back and then having to take it on a regular basis. People have tried to get around that by setting up groups where one person from the group goes and picks up everyone's drugs that week or that month, and then it rotates throughout the group. So our idea, leveraging our teammates' computer science background and trying to reach as many people as possible in a very short period of time, is to create a platform, so Uber or WhatsApp. This would be SMS based, where we would go into these urban slums and identify either existing businesses that are bringing in groceries or basic commodities. They already kind of have that delivery system in place, and connecting them with people who need access to their medication on the bottom. Might be helpful if I draw it. So people with cell phones can place their order and say when they need it. All of this either gets processed by us initially, and then we spit out the report to, let's say, the small businesses who are doing groceries and already receiving shipments from bigger cities and places where the big distributors are. Then that goes up the chain and gets the order to the big distributors. This is the community, and these are the individuals. And then hopefully that would provide access not only to the medication that these people desperately need to stay on top of and reduce rates of HIV and AIDS, but frees them up from the hassle and the extra costs and burdens of having to leave town, go pick up their medication, and bring it back and either distribute it or just take it. Let's see, what else did we talk about? So, in keeping with the social enterprise aspect, we also wanted to enable more small businesses in this kind of community setting. So we were thinking of creating a franchise model or a rent-to-buy type model, where if these don't already exist, we can spin something up and the individuals in that community work in it and work off until they can own it and hire local residents to staff it. And then, so that would have an educational component, and then on the other side, We would also provide some financial stability, and so microloans and some lines of credit for people. That's kind of where we are now. So if anyone thinks that this is absolutely not going to work, or if we should focus on, instead of medicine, we should focus on just basic groceries, or we should focus on water or something else, love to hear your thoughts, but that's literally where we stand. Yeah.
First thing I think you need is understand what do they have in place, because there's probably some channel of distribution already in place. And in terms of adapting it, towards something like that, I think there's a transition phase. I remember in India, it was phenomenal to me that when I was over there, I guess between years of business school, that people would get lunches at work, and their cooks at the house would send them there, and there was just in containers, and I mean, the logistics there and how everything worked without barcodes, FedEx way, was phenomenal, and it all got there.
Right.
So that, just a comment, is look at what's there, maybe that you can build on, versus introducing a entirely new, to us it's not new, but technology there in terms of being able to ramp it up and be successful.
In terms of the medicines, J&J and GSK just announced an injectable drug that only has to be given every 4 to 8 weeks. So that's coming up.
Do you know when?
It's in phase 3.
Okay, cool. I know this was super broad and very, very rough, so I appreciate it.
I think one of the things that was, and I was just at that meeting downstairs, one of the interesting things that Professor McCann was talking about was making sure that the clarity of the idea is really succinct. So if I was looking at this, I feel like the distribution is complicated enough without bringing in, like, spinning up these community like the middle row. I think I would focus on what is that middle row and how do you make the distribution work in all the crowded spaces. I really like the idea of it being a grocery store for a couple of reasons. One, grocery deliveries probably already use refrigerated trucks, which they need for pharmaceuticals. But I probably wouldn't bring that aspect in to the model. With that being said, I don't know how many grocery stores exist in urban slums. So if you could find, and maybe it's not grocery stores, maybe it's something else, but whatever is that middle piece that is already in everything, then you can focus only on distribution. I think that might bring a lot of clarity to that and allow you to go deeper in that path.
Anybody else? Awesome.
Yeah, so when we talk about education, for instance, and the challenge is, how do you bring these kids that are coming from impoverished neighborhoods up academically? What they found is that when those kids are integrated into an environment where the standard's higher, they perform better. So I'm trying to make the connection of community is really important, and I think that came out earlier in a lot of what you presented, because a lot of your focus is community too. But and it is, but to move these groups of people that you're targeting out of their pocket, they need to integrate. So somehow that community piece, if you can integrate it into, the next level up and raise the standard and get them to integrate outside of that pocket, that would be a real plus.
And you're going to post the video, right? Because I'm not taking notes right now. Okay, well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this, gets more refined as we move forward. Thank you.
Just send us a slice of that $1 million.
Thank you.